Good evening and welcome to Sparkle of Light Spiritual Chat Show. My name is Alice Trevorrow. I'm your host, the producer of the show. And tonight we have a lovely guest. We have Steve Razzell with us, who is from London. And we will be speaking to him in a few moments' time. But I would like to just do a little brief introduction to Steve. Steve is a psychic and he's a medium as well. And we're going to hear a story about how he actually started with spiritualism and working for Spirit World and where it began for him. And then after we've had a little chat with Steve, we will go on further to the live readings. Now, the live readings will be it will be on just after 9 tonight. So anybody who's wanting a reading, please put in the comment box because there is a comment box there, so you can just write that in there. Also, I would like to also say tonight, for the first time actually, if you wish, you can join us on the show if you want to receive your reading and be with us on the show. Instead of just doing the comment box, you can actually join us on the show as well. So we'll go with that and we'll see how it all runs this evening. But I'm looking forward to welcoming Steve onto the show and taking this further. And I'm sure for all you viewers, you'll find this very interesting. Remember as well, it goes also live on Thursday at 8 p.m. on Spotify, Apple, and numerous other broadcasts like Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Radio Public, TuneIn, and Podchaser. So it goes to all of these as well. So without any further hesitation, let's bring our Steve on to the show. So welcome, Steve, and thank you for joining us this evening. It's lovely to have you. Yeah, well, Judith's having a little break. She's on holiday tonight, so it's myself and you this evening, and I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about your background and where it began for you. How did you get into doing what you do? Because I know you do quite a lot. I know you do private readings, you do events, etc.
Well, for me, it was always a big interest of mine ever since I was a child. I was always interested in supernatural, paranormal. I think certainly being very sensitive as a child, you sort of have that most mediums and psychics are sensitive, and you have early sort of signs from spirit. I would take on as, being my major path to spiritualism. Really, mainly it's through interest. I think anybody that's got an interest in, say, a sport or anything like that, that's where you're going to end up going. It pulls you in. And from an early age, I was aware of spirit. I would see them, I would hear them. I had my name called quite a few times. I just was aware of them. As you start to develop with your mediumship, you understand that they communicate in all sorts of ways. So through thoughts, through feelings, you would just have a real strong sense of knowing about certain things, or a feeling about a certain event or what's going to happen, or the feeling of somebody being there was a really big thing to me. So that was really my pathway to mediumship and psychic development.
Yeah. When you were a very young child, were you aware of spirit around you then? Was it, what kind of age were we kind of talking about here?
Well, I was aware of, we talk about energy, you know yourself being a medium, you feel information, you sense it. I mean, films like such as The Sixth Sense and all of that, it doesn't really come to any sort of, nothing like that at all. It was more a case of getting a feeling of somebody being there, but I never really understood what it was until I sort of went into mediumship. I had a reading, I never forget this, it was back in 2007. My mum's quite spiritual and she took me in to see a medium with her, and she actually told me that I was going to go on this journey. And that's what I was going to be in the future. I didn't really think much of it. She said to me, "You're sensitive to spirit. You're naturally a born medium." And I didn't really know what to say. That was only I was very young at the time, and sort of left it at that. But over time, things started to open up to me, and the right kinds of people come into your life at the right kind of time as well. On your path, you meet people that are like-minded, that will give you a sort of a gist or a sort of push in the right direction, and that's really what happened for me. And I started developing, I think it was 2013, and I've not really looked back since. It's been a long journey. It's not something that happens overnight. it is a very long journey. You've got a self-discovery as well along that journey. It's a lot
Yeah.
to take in, but it is really worth it.
Yeah, there is no going back though. Once
No.
you know we start, there is no going back. You get the little nudge to go forward, and then that's it, you know. But I know you work with cards as well. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You work with.
I work with the
tarot
Druid
cards?
Tarot. Yeah, the Druid
Oh,
Tarot. I've had these.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
my original set as well. I've had these since I started. They've never
Yeah.
left my side.
Yeah, yeah. I work with angel cards as well, but I did do the tarot. But you know, it's something for everybody, isn't it? The tarot cards didn't work for me.
That's
Whereas
fair enough. Yeah.
whereas the angel cards did. Whereas I know other mediums, the tarot works for them, but the angel cards don't, you know. So it's good that we're all different and we can share, you know, our own spiritual gifts as such, you know,
it's a very diverse. It's a very diverse job, to put it mildly. I mean, spiritualism, you know, spirit communication, from healing to tarot cards to palmistry, it's such a vast array of different things. It's never ending, really.
No, it's not.
It's certainly in the past few decades, it's become much more popular. It's not so much hidden, not spoken about. It's become much more open. I think people are getting much more open to the idea now as well, because you know, you're allowed to as well. You know, it's one of those sorts of. I mean, religion isn't a massive part of everyone's lives now, certainly in the UK. But I mean, you know, open, free to believe what you want to believe in, and you know, if you feel you're on the right path, then you will be on the right path. You go where you're drawn to go. You go where you feel your gut instinct draws your interest, draw you in the right direction. And you have to keep pushing and working hard.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If anybody can hear some noise in the background, we've got fireworks going off here.
Yeah. There's quite a few here as well. That's why I'm wearing noise cancellation earphones.
So anyone who's listening, if you can hear some squirks and bangs going in the background, then remember it's firework night, you know. So so is it quite busy where you are just now? You've got fireworks going off as well?
We've got quite a few going off. There's a few fields near where I live. I live more in the countryside now. But there's quite a few days we've had that, so everyone's enjoying themselves.
We've got a few people starting to join us as well. So I would like to say hello to Nancy. Nancy, it's lovely to have you on, darling. And someone called Castle Tarot, so that's someone who does the tarot there as well. And there was another lady as well. I can't see her.
And I've only got my iPhone, but I can see the comments on here as well.
Yeah,
So
no, I know. But we have got some people who are joining us, so welcome everybody. And remember, like and share and let everybody know that we're on tonight. And also, there will be some live readings coming on to the show too, with Steve and myself. So that will be good fun. Now, I was going to ask you, does your family have a connection then? You know, was it your gran and your mum? And for me, it was more my gran, although my mum had it but never used it. You know, but my gran
it comes more from my mother's side. I found this out recently that my great grandmother were into it. They used to go to spiritualist churches. I never really knew that. It was spoken about in the family, but there never was anybody that I know of that was ever a reader or a medium or anything like that. But I think the interest has been passed down more from my mum's side. My dad's side, there is some of that, but it's more from my mother's side, definitely. So I think it does also sort of get passed down the family. The interests of it all and everything like that will be passed down. But it's really, you know, in some cases, I know people that have come from a quite religious family or a family that don't believe in it, and they've just found their own route, which is quite difficult, I suppose, if you're in that situation. But really, from my family, it's more, it was quite strong. A lot of them are quite open-minded to it.
Yeah.
And they don't mind what I do.
What about your dad's side? Was he? Were they not?
More his mum's side, I would say, my grandmother's side. But not really. I mean, there's very few of them left now, so. I don't know much about that side. So his brother had some sort of gift, but he was quite a character himself.
So I know you were doing an event last night. How did that go?
Well, it's busy considering it was a Monday night. Tends to be quite quiet during the week, but no, it went really well. I think I had 8 people in total. It was quite a well turned out event for everybody.
Right.
And
Fantastic.
I do most weekends I'm doing events. I do about 4 or 5 a month.
Right. Do
So I
you?
do
Oh,
get
that's quite a lot.
if
Yeah.
not more. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
they're
quite a
great.
lot.
I
Yeah.
do quite a lot of demonstrations as well online, on Facebook Lives, etc. And they're
Hmm.
quite enjoyable. They're good as well. So I love
Yeah.
what I do. I'd never change it.
No, no, no. I think you've got to, you can't not enjoy what you're doing,
Exactly. You have to
Yeah,
do what you mean. This is all about empathy. It's all about, passion. That's what this is about. It's a
yes.
gift for everybody. Mediumship is a gift for everybody. It's a gift
Hmm.
from spirit to everyone, not only the medium, but it's a gift to the clients. And the most
Hmm.
important thing is that you give that client the lease of life and the
Hmm.
proof and evidence of survival. It's all about
Yeah,
evidence. It's all about details with mediumship. It's really
yeah.
important.
So what advice would you give somebody who was newly starting out?
Really be patient, certainly. I mean, learn from your mistakes. I mean, no reading is going to be 100% perfect. No, anything like that is going to be 100% perfect. Don't beat yourself up about things that you don't get right, but really
Hmm.
do practice and, try hard, but also have patience, meditate as much as you can, connect with your guides. Guides are really important. You don't have to see them, you can just feel them, get their sense of energy. But
Hmm.
also, the main thing about it as well, not only it's about self-development, it's about development in yourself. I tell this to a lot of my clients as well. I mean, spirituality for me is it's connecting to yourself. It's finding out who you truly are, and then using that to help others. But the main thing before you move on to help others is to find out a lot more about yourself, self-healing, self-respect, a lot of self-respect in that, and
Yeah.
then you move on with your mediumship or your whatever you choose to go down, psychic or tarot, and
Hmm.
there should be no ego in this work either whatsoever, because it's not about you,
No,
it's about
that's
the
right.
spirit. That's really
Absolutely.
important to remember that.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's not about us at all. It's about us remembering why we're doing this, and
Hmm.
it's about helping other people. It's really about
It
helping
is.
other people, and that's something I think some people forget that the ego comes in a little bit, and they think it's all
Fortunately so.
them, and it's not at all. So yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that as well. So what have you got coming up? Have you got anything quite prominent coming up that you'd like to share?
Tomorrow evening, I've got an event with a lady called Deb Parrott. The information is on my Facebook page.
Okay.
That's going to start at about 7:30 till late, probably a couple of hours of that. So that's mediumship, and also Deb does tarot cards, angel cards, and spirit cards, so that sort of stuff. So I do the mediumship, she does that. It works really well. We work really well together. And I've got an event coming up. I've got loads
What's
of
her
events
name
coming up.
again?
I've
What was
flipped
her
over
name
my
again?
Deb
All
Parrott.
right.
Deb Parrott.
Yeah.
Debbie Parrott. Do you know
No,
her?
no, I thought you said somebody else's
Okay.
name there, but no, I
No.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got an event coming up on the 16th of November in Great Barford, which is sort of the Bedfordshire area. So I work a lot around the London and the home counties area,
Uh-huh.
Great Missenden, all those kinds of areas. So I get around quite a lot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
do probably about 4 or 5 a month, maybe more as well. I go up to the West Midlands. I'm going to Coventry. Walsall in I think it's the 14th of December.
Hmm.
All of that information can be found on my website. I've got an events page which is up there.
Yeah.
I go to Leamington Spa in it's on I think it's the 30th of November. I do a lot of the home counties again, Hertfordshire area, Bedfordshire area, Buckinghamshire area. So I do get around quite a lot, and
You
I
do. Yeah.
absolutely love it. The people that
Yeah.
I meet are incredible. They really are. I meet so
Hmm.
many amazing clients. I mean, it really fascinates me. It really does. When you think you're having a bad day, you hear somebody's stories, or you read for people that have lost their loved ones
Yes.
that they've lost.
Hmm.
It's just unbelievable. It really
Yeah.
is. And if you can give them that, push or that
Mhm.
sort of evidence that they're not alone, and that the soul does live on, that the spirit does live on, then that is priceless. It really is. It's really important. That's what I love the most about my job.
Yeah. We've got a few more
Hope
people.
you do the same.
Yeah, we've got a few more people joining us here as well. So welcome, Jeannie, onto the show. And where was my other lady that came up? Keep missing these names. Yeah, there's a few others, but I'm just trying to find them.
Okay.
So we've got
how many
Jeannie,
have we got in total? Can you see?
Yeah, we've got quite a few, but I'm not adding them up yet. But we've got we've got Nancy and we've got Jeannie, and I've lost the other lady that came on. I can't find her now. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Remember, like and share. We're doing live readings tonight as well. So, all right, okay, press on the new comments, Alice, and then you'll find it. Yeah, Ray, welcome, Avril as well. You know, and Avril's actually saying that she got. I'll put the comment up because I know you're finding it hard to see comments, but can you see that?
I can see them.
Yeah,
I can see the comments.
That's kind of what I'll do when you're doing the live readings. Okay,
brilliant.
just
that's
to help you.
That'd be fantastic.
That. No problem. So Avril, she got into mediumship when her granddad passed, and you know, you find that, don't you? That
you do.
There will be, you'll have had it when you were younger, and then there'll be other attributes that come in that bring us back into the movement in a bigger way. You know, they decide, well, we want you to work for us. You know, so you do find that. And Ray, good evening over there. So I can take, that's a different country that Ray is. So let us know where you're from. What countries are you from? And welcome to be on the show. You were talking about countries. Now, I travel about as well. In fact, I'm going down in a couple of weeks to Fulham, Spiritualist Church.
Fulham,
So I'm doing
quite a nice part of London.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it's a beautiful church as well, and the people in it are so lovely, you know. I'm going down there. They're having a Christmas extravaganza, you know. It's a kind of private readings and stalls, etc. So it'll be really good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Ray has said that he or she, I'm not too sure if it's a he or she, is from Arizona. Okay, so welcome
Lancashire,
there.
Arizona, Cyberbank,
Scotland, London. My daughter lives down that way. She lives down that way, so she lives just outside of Eastbourne. She lives. So she lives down that way. So Ray's a woman. Okay, Ray. Right, okay. But yeah, she lives down that way, so I get down there quite a bit, you know. And like I was summertime, I was at Hereford and London and these places as well. So yeah, I you know, and you know, isn't it lovely though? Yes, we can get to travel and see all these different places, but also with being online, you're globally connecting across the whole world, and you're meeting people that perhaps you might not have met. I don't know about you, Steve, but if you've not found that you've met a lot of people, you know, I've met quite a lot of people now from America that I would never have met, you know. And
I've got quite a few clients from the States now, and
very good friends as well. Very good friends, you know. So I if this hadn't have all happened about going online and you know, globally meeting up, then it would have probably.
And it's also it works out a lot cheaper for people as well. If you live quite a long way, you've got to pay for petrol or a train fare or a bus fare. Also, it's the comfort within your own home, and it works just as well online as it does in person, if not better. Actually, I think it gives that real sense of, you know, you could be in your own home, you could be in your comfort zone, because sometimes people be quite nervous about traveling, but if you're in a foreign country, for example, it really does work a lot better. I mean, obviously, there's no way you can do it if you're abroad, but spirit can also communicate. You know, there's no time in the spirit world. It's eternal, and it works at much faster vibration. Two people connect with the same spirit as well within within the same reading. If they're in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, it's fascinating how they do it. It really opens up more understanding to the spirit world.
Yeah, and also like when you're doing online readings, I could be doing a reading, but you also could be connecting to the same person as me and doing a double link. And doing this, I mean, you're away down in London, I'm in Scotland. It don't matter about distance,
exactly.
Because there is no distance, there is no time as far as the working of spirit world, So Avril's made a couple of comments. I'm just Avril, she's connected with somebody, she says, in Vancouver. So she started to kind of spread her wings, and also she's from Fife in Scotland. So she said she had a connection years ago because of her trauma, and after releasing childhood trauma, and after the loss of her granddad, and then all the feelings came back, and began in our mediumship school the last few years. And so there's different aspects of how we get back into mediumship. We never lose it. I mean, I know there's some things that
it
take
can
a
only
break.
get stronger.
Yeah, but you never lose.
It connects, and there's nothing wrong also with taking a break. I did take a break for a couple of years, and those past a few years that I took a break, I mean, I grew in myself. The thing is, mediumship is also about life experiences. I mean, things that you've witnessed. I mean, for example, if you was in a car accident, you've experienced a car accident, and someone's coming through that was in a car accident, that's how they passed. You get taken to that sort of memory that you've had. Your memories play a massive part in your connection to spirit. That's how they communicate, because there's no obviously they can't talk to you or anything like that. It's only through sense and through feeling and through vision. And that's the main way of connecting with us. And so the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more experience in life that you have, the better you get it.
Yeah, you're right though. They do work on your own experiences and memories. They do. They do. And then they can drop in a few other things as well. I don't know about you, but sometimes they do things like that to me when it's live. I think, oh gosh, could you not have done that when I was actually practicing a little bit?
Well, everyone's very different. Every spirit's very different. I mean, they've got different personalities in the spirit. I mean, they do. Some of them are still the same as they were when they passed. I've had to tell that to many people. I mean, the characters that they've still got their personalities. They've still got their sense of humour. Even though they get the help and everything they need when they pass. For example, if they've had a very, very difficult life and pass in a very difficult or tragic way, they do get a lot of help. We'll talk about reflection before you go into the spirit world. When you go there, you reflect over the life that you've had, and you have all the help and loved ones and all that. Your guides play a massive part in that as well. So you're never alone, and
you're not.
The love that you get from the spirit world is really, really, it's incredible. It really is.
Castle's saying that's very interesting, that your experiences affect your connections with spirit. It does.
It does.
And Avril's got, when connecting with grannies, always smell my granny's soup. So Avril's a medium, so she's connecting then with gran. She'll smell gran soup. That's her sign of saying, "Oh, that's a gran." And it's great how they work with your own faculty of mediumship.
It is.
And it is. It really, truly is. But connecting with spirit. For me, I work in all the kind of clear sentences.
Yes.
But
use all of them.
But I also I would say I'm probably stronger with the clairaudience and the clairvoyance, as well. But the clairaudience, I would say, probably more. Yeah.
My number one is clairsentience. That's most of my work is clairsentience.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can hear and see and everything. I mean, clairaudience hearing is mainly like things in your head, like it's for example, memories that you've had. You can hear a song that you love, or whatever. That's clairaudience. You can hear in your mind what they're trying to say, or what they're trying to give you. Music, for example, is a lot that you get with clairaudience, and noises such as all kinds of things. Really, it's incredible. And everything as well. What I love about it is every single reading is different. Every single spirit is different. They've got,
very different.
every
Yeah.
single communication is different. And working out what they're trying to say, it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. It can be. Sometimes it's more difficult than others. Sometimes it's much more sort of straightforward than others. But you just have to go with the flow, and you have to go with what you feel they're trying to say.
Yeah, I think we can make that difficult ourselves, though. Because really it's not difficult, but we can make it difficult ourselves. It depends on what kind of day we had that day, or if we're a bit uptight as well. But clear sentence is the basis of it, because if you can't feel and sense what you're receiving, and have that empathy and compassion to what is you are receiving, then how can you open it up? Because it's like a book, you're opening the book. I can actually hear their accent. I can hear them talking to me. That is not something I always had. I didn't always have that, but I know I've told this story before, but I used to just, it was clairsentience and clairvoyance and claircognitive as well. And I did say to them one day, that's the way I work. So I was saying to somebody else, actually, that's the way I work. And I never hear spirit, but that's the way I work, and they took the whole lot away from me that night, everything they took that I was used to. And they gave me cleared audience only. And I was like, oh, where are you? And I'm just hearing all these voices, but I wasn't getting anything else, and they made me trust. And from that day onwards, everything's been opened up, So have they done anything like that with you?
One thing I definitely would say, when it's clear sentence, as I say, I work with spirit within my auric field. That's why I tend to rock when I work. I tend to, whenever I open myself up, I rock backwards and forwards. This happened to me a couple of years ago. I actually done a paranormal investigation in a school in England, a school in Tring. It's quite a famous music school, I think it was. I can't remember the name of it, but when I was in there, I started to rock when I was connecting, and ever since then, I've always done the same thing. Not always, but 9 times out of 10 when I connect, I tend to rock when spirit's with me. That's when I get that real sense of someone being there, and that's really my sort of trigger. Because the thing as well with mediumship, it's like a daydream. It's like you're having a daydream. You can make it up in your head. It's a bit of a complicated one to explain, but it's like a daydream, isn't it? Yeah. So sometimes I'm actually imagining this, or I'm actually, is this true? My way of connecting is to feel the spirit there. I've always had that kind of sense anyway. But when they step within my aura, I'm aware of them. And the thing is as well with mediumship, you can you're in control. The spirit is not in control. You're in total control of who you want to be. If you want spirit there, you have no control as to who comes forward, though. You can't do that, unfortunately. You can't say to somebody, I want to have this person, I want to have that person. You can try and allow them to come in, but whoever comes through will come through. You've got no say in that at all. They come through because it's free will, and if they're ready to do so. So recent passings, it tends to be sort of within about a year's time of them passing, maybe less than that. It could be even months. I've had that quite a lot recently, a lot more recent passings. And I'd like to say as well, I don't know if you've had this, but you can have dad days, you can have mum days, you can have grandparent days. You can have days where mainly dads come through, days where mainly mums come through. Also, you can have days where it's been younger people, mainly younger people. It just, I don't know why it is, but that's just the way that
that's
it can
be. Yeah, that happened to me last week actually. It was with private readings, and it was all fathers and fathers and men that were like a father, but they weren't blood linked, and father-in-law and grandfather, but it was all that for the whole week. And the week before, it was actually it was young women I was getting the week before. And I thought that's a bit, because normally you can do that in a daily, it can change daily, but for it to be on the 1 week, the same, I thought, what's going on here? So maybe it was something that spirit thought you need to strengthen up on,
of course.
So I trust whatever they give me,
whatever you're given, you have to go with. I mean, when you switch and turn yourself on to spirit, whatever they give you, I mean, if it's the most random thing ever, the weirdest thing ever that you could possibly think of, that could be a real strong sign. I mean, you don't know someone from Adam when they come to you.
No.
And you don't know what the spirit was like really in and out. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's also a very personal thing that,
Hmm.
if a name or what they used to call someone in particular, a certain, a certain drink, they used to have a brand of food, brand of drink, a certain type of food, whatever they used to really like, or, just their eating habits or whatever, their habits in general, that's really vital for
Yeah.
evidence. Mediumship is all about evidence. It's all about
Yeah.
hitting home. Names are
It
really
is.
important, but their
Yeah.
names are really important. They're quite difficult to get though. I don't know if you can
Hmm.
agree with me on that one,
Yeah.
but
I like working with evidence. I do,
yeah.
and always say, and I always say to my students as well, if you're working and with spirit world, don't just come through and say, well, I've got Gran here, and oh, she
Mhm.
loved her bacon, and oh, she always did her bacon, and then go straight on to a message. You
No,
always say,
you have
well,
to give as
who,
much,
who is
a lot
who
about as well
is
as
Gran?
clarity. Yeah,
What's her
yeah,
character? Make Gran be alive, so
yeah,
as they know without a doubt, oh, she definitely had my Gran,
mhm,
because they felt the essence of the spirit right beside them.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I totally get that.
yeah.
There's hi Stacey. Stacey's on, and there's a few people putting some comments on as well. What is this one? Let's see. Yeah, Ray, she actually starts seeing spirit when she's almost going to sleep, which is actually that's quite a common thing as
Mhm,
well, because you're going in that transition, aren't you?
yeah,
You're moving from your conscious mind, and you're going into the subconscious, but you're drifting
mhm,
off to the different state of sleep. So Avril has got my number one is feeling things. So she clear sentences feels things. So if people have passed with certain conditions, she feels them.
yes.
So yeah, so people
That's another.
are
Yeah,
yeah,
that's another thing that you have to try. I advise people to try
yeah,
and get those. I mean, some mediums say don't do that, but I mean that's also a vital bit of information
it
to know
is,
how they
yeah,
passed. I mean,
yeah.
that's some mediums say don't ever do that because it's traumatic. But however, I think that's very important to get
It's very
that.
important.
That's only how they pass. As long as you don't go too much into depth of how someone
That
passed, it's very
that's
traumatic.
right. I had an experience. It hasn't happened again, but I did have this experience, and I was giving a reading, and it was on the platform,
Hmm.
and it did give me a bit of a fright, because all of a sudden I felt I had no legs, and it felt weird, and in fact, it brought me out of being with spirit world, because I thought, am I having a stroke here? Do you,
Yeah,
do you know? Do you know what I mean? It was
yeah.
just so realistic, and as soon as they sensed me panic a little bit, I felt my legs again. And then it clicked on me, because I heard I had no legs, you know. And so I said, well, can you understand then to this lady the amputation? And she was like, no, no. And he's going, I had no legs. Do you know? And I was like, but then he keeps telling me he had no legs. And she said, no, he didn't have any legs. And I was like, she said, but he didn't have an amputation. I was like, something. She said, no, he was born that way.
Oh, I've got you. Yeah,
He was
yeah,
born that way. So do you know how
yeah.
sometimes you can, if you come out of the power and you start searching, but he's saying he's got no legs, so you're automatically thinking, well, it was an amputation. He never told me he had an amputation. He said I had no legs. So it's a trusting, isn't it? It's a
It is the
trusting as
trust.
well.
Mediumship is
Yeah.
about trust. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, you get people through that people can't take, but there's always a reason why they come forward. I mean, it might not make sense to someone in the beginning. I can remember recently, it's what you, I don't remember every reading that I give, but there's some certain ones that stick in my mind. I was with this lady on Zoom, and I knew there was a man coming forward, and I knew he had a brain tumor. I could feel it
Right.
right now. I was having sort of not seizures, but I knew his sight was going and everything. And I was talking
Mm-hmm.
to her about it, and she was like, sort of half with me, half not. And I went, describing this man and his personality, and she's sort of smiling at me, and she's like, okay. She said, I think I know who it is. And I went, John. And she went, oh my God, she never expected, you don't always expect people to come through, but it was a family friend. He was like a granddad to her. He had actually been a doctor throughout his life. He was a really, well dressed, really smart, intelligent man. And
Uh-huh.
he'd actually had the brain tumor, and his name was John, but she didn't expect him at all. She didn't like, he passed away like 40 odd years ago,
Yeah.
and she'd never once ever had him come through all the readings that she'd had. it was the first time ever, you can be quite surprised if you come through. And the reasons why they come through, there's always a specific. Perhaps also he'd never been through before, so it was his time. He wanted to come through and give her a lot of love and support, because he was a real sort of grandfatherly kind of a figure. I think I thought it was her granddad to start with, because he had that sort of energy about him, and he was just a real he was a real character. The guy, everyone's favourite sort of, he'd been the perfect doctor for anybody that was nervous about diagnosis or whatever. He was great with the kids and everything. So and you just don't know who's going to come forward, and that's the exciting part. Don't ever feel disappointed that you don't hear from who you want to hear from. I mean, there's always a strong reason why they come forward. And
I'm glad you're saying that. You're on the same wavelength as me with that, because I always say that to anybody that comes for a reading, or if I'm doing a demonstration, because you maybe get, well, oh, but he passed away, or he died years ago. Do you know? And I'm saying, it doesn't matter. You can get someone who's passed away years ago to someone who's just passed away. Do you know? And I've had people, I don't know about you, but I've had people that hasn't even been buried or cremated yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know who was more shocked, them or me.
Yeah. I was in here. This is my office room I'm in, by the way. I was in about a year ago. It must be, if not longer. There was a young lady who just lost her. I mean, I didn't know at the time, but she lost her dad, and I knew her dad was there. And I thought he must have been passed for ages, because he felt so strong. And he wasn't a believer in spirit or anything like that. It's just quite unusual, because normally they come through when they've got faith and all that in this sort of thing, in faith in the fact that there is life. They tend to come through a lot more quicker. But he hadn't even been buried yet. It was like less than a week after his passing, and he was banging on the door. He was opening and closing the drawers and everything. I'd never had that before with him.
No, but you're actually hearing it.
Yeah, he was actually opening the door, and I was describing him to this young girl, and she was so shocked that he'd actually already come. I mean, obviously that's who she probably wanted to speak to, but I don't think she was quite expecting him. But I think I got his name as well. I can't remember now. But he was a right character. He was a real sort of joker, a real lad's lad, to put it mildly. I mean, he was a real out. I mean, that's the sort of thing why he was doing that. He was so strong, which really surprised me. And he was someone that took no nonsense. He was just that sort of, kind of a character. Getting on my phone, so I'm starting to get some notifications coming up. I'm just swiping my phone up. So.
Yeah, that's okay. I know you're on your iPhone, aren't you? Yeah, so it's fine, no problem. Have you had any? I know you mentioned about paranormal as well. I've actually got another podcast I've just started, and I'm really it's just started. It's all about like paranormal, supernatural. Anybody that's had those experiences, premonitions, near death experience, reincarnation, the whole lot. It's covering everything. And I'm having guests coming on to tell their stories about it, because Spirit want that out there to kind of help people realize that there is more to life. There is not death, and to help people realize as well, particularly with near-death experiences, that there is a lot of people that have that fear of dying, but they've had a near-death experience and they're like, I'll never ever be frightened of dying again, because there's a lot there still to be shared. And
there is indeed.
Yes, and we need us to do that for them, to make our world kind of open their eyes to not be in that box and not think of outside the box. So
I think, certainly with skeptics and things like that along those lines, I mean, it's fine to be a skeptic. I mean, I understand why people don't believe in this. It's totally their choice. It's totally up to them. But, I would say just to be open-minded, and there's no need to send, abuse or anything like that to people that believe in this. Understand that, that's up to them to believe it or not, but you don't need to be like that.
You're absolutely right. It is up to them, and nobody's trying to drum it into them. It's nice to even just maybe think, well, I'll listen to that and see what I make of it and see what I think. And if I'm not sure, then maybe I want to listen to more, or maybe I don't want to listen to any of it, and that's absolutely fine. But there is a lot of people that will, and there's a lot of people that didn't know certain things and then think that happened to me. That makes sense. Oh, I'm not going off my head. That not going off my head at all, because that happened to me. So if it happened to me, then it's happening to many other people, and they're telling their story. And it makes them feel a little bit then not so strange, because sometimes if you don't know, you can feel, and you're made to feel a little bit weird,
You are, yeah. I mean, it is weird, I suppose, in your own sort of way, different kind of career path to many different, to what I would say is conventional. But you've got to follow your dream, you've got to follow your passion, you've got to follow what you love.
Yeah.
And it's good when you've got people coming to you that are skeptical, they're just open to it, never had a reading before, and it goes really well. And they're able to have that kind of experience from spirit. It's really, it's really quite something.
There's nothing nicer though when you've got someone who comes and sits in front of you and says, my wife, it was actually at an event, my wife paid for this, but I will let you know, I'm a skeptic. I really don't believe in any of this, but I'm willing to be open, but I don't believe in it. And then at the very end, look at you and say, well, wow, that was my father you had, and you've just opened my eyes to something that I thought did not exist,
Exactly.
And things you said to me, no one else knew, just him and me,
exactly.
And then you've done your job right for spirit world,
Exactly, and they do appreciate what you do. I mean, that's it. They do really appreciate the effort that you put in, and they give you a lot. I mean, the main thing is that they give you, the love. You feel yourself the love that they send, and that's really, they give it to you as well, and it makes you feel very uplifted. It makes you feel like you've done your job properly and everything like that. Obviously, there's no room for ego. However, you feel really pleased with what you've done, as long as you've managed to get the information through and everything, and the client is happy, and the spirit is happy. Because they're not so much, well, some are, they all have their own personalities, but they're not usually very demanding of you, and they don't bully you or anything like that to get the information right or anything like that. So trust in them. I mean, if you feel it's right for you, if you feel that the time is right to go for a reading, then you go when you feel the time is right. You don't ever feel pressured into it. You don't ever feel pressured into having a reading or having a merit mediumship reading, card reading, or anything like that. You go when you feel you need to go. You go when you feel the time is right, and you go for who you feel you connect with. I always say that to everyone: if you feel connected with me, you want me to have a reading with me or somebody else, then it's really up to you. You go to who you're drawn to go to.
Absolutely.
I find that a lot about events. Yeah.
And there's not, there's a medium for everybody, but there can be, because one person comes and gets a good reading from you and recommends you, and then someone else comes and they think, I didn't really get what you got.
Yes.
It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. It's to do with the energy. It's to do with the energy. You might not be the right medium for that person. That person may be looking for something particular that you're not given, but you will give what's needed, not always what's wanted, but you will give what's needed, if you're truly working with spirit world. I'm just reading Avril. Avril said she had a dream that saved her daughter's life back in her 20s. So a bit of a kind of premonition there through a dream, which is very, very common. I can understand that. I did have a premonition, but it wasn't in a dream, but and it was to do with my son. Yes, I totally understand where you're coming from with that. I think that's quite a good topic as well to, if anybody wants to come on to my new podcast, just give me a text, email, and I'll get you on. You can actually share that story, because it's something it's something I think it's a good podcast. It's called Unexplained Mysteries, and the first one comes out on Friday this week, actually. So if anybody's interested, just let me know if you want to come on and share your story, because I'm sure Avril, myself, and many, many more people have had that kind of premonition, or something's happened. And if you hadn't had that, warning, and given that premonition,
Yeah.
then something disastrous could have happened. Now, some people will probably say, well, how come I never got that and something disastrous happened in their life? How was I not stopped? And there is no explanation other than,
No.
And it's a tough one to say this.
If it's meant to be, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that.
I mean,
just ready to get
we
it
don't
out.
always know what's going on the corner, even as psychics or mediums. We don't know
really
everything.
Don't. It's hard, but we've all got, I believe, and this is just my opinion, we've all got a date and time when we're going, and we may have different alternatives to it. Do I want to go quick, or would I be happy to stay on and for a few years, but it wouldn't be a good quality of life, your own soul.
There is that to it as well, but it's also we have also I would say we've got choices in how we want to live our lives as well. If you want to live a healthy life, a happy life, or if you want to eat crap all your life, or bad food, you're given that option of you're not going to be here for very long. You have that. I mean, life is really what you make of it. Life is what you need to make of it for yourself. And you can't. No medium or psychic can tell you what to do. They can only give you advice. We can only give you some sort of guidance on the right path, or whatever path you feel is what works.
We're not
for you.
allowed to do that.
No,
we're not allowed to do that. And just like
no medium
ever give you bad news either. Because spirit just do not do that. And there is a spiritual law. And they're not allowed to do that. So if any medium gives you some bad news about something, please do not take that on board, because it's not coming from spirit world.
Okay. I've heard some horrible stories, and recently I had a client. It was I think it was a tarot reading I gave for both mediumship and tarot, and but she had a tarot reading. She came to me for advice. And this tarot reader a few weeks ago told her that she's going to be traveling in 4 months because someone is going to die in her family. And I thought that was horrific. You should never. You can really pull somebody down completely. You can put someone in a really bad situation.
You can actually change their whole life path. Because they go down a different road altogether. And you've got to have personal responsibility, when you're working with spirit world, and spirit will never give you anything like that. But I have heard horrific stories, I heard one just recently, and I wasn't sure whether to share this or not, but I'm going to, because in case it happens to somebody else. But this lady went for a reading, and her husband had been a little bit under par with health. He wasn't great, and this lady told the person that came for the reading that her husband would be gone within the next couple of days, sitting at home in a chair, in his chair. Now, needless to say, her husband's still alive, and we're talking. I mean, I only heard the story recently, but the husband's still alive and has been alive for many years. But what I did to that lady was horrific. The lady ended up going to the doctor. She became hyper conscious of everything, hypersensitive of everything. Even, she even didn't even want him to sit in his chair anymore. She thought if he would sit on the couch, then things would be different. These people have no idea, what they're doing, and they actually give the people who are truly working with spirit world a bad name.
They do. That's 100%. Yeah. Every reading should be finishing a positive. I know, even when there's a breakup or something in your life, there's always a positive outcome, no matter whatever happens. Absolutely. Also, life is what you make it. But sometimes we go through. There's saying there's no light without darkness. We go through dark phases, but we always come out the other end. And never be too proud to ask for help if you need to. That's what readings are about, and to give you guidance, to give you clarity on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what's really important to remember. And no medium or psychic should ever say something like
no.
Towards,
but it happens. It does happen.
Does.
It does happen. And for anybody that has happened to, or anybody recently that's upset about something like that, please don't take that on board, because it is not coming from spirit world. And no, they're not.
Absolutely not.
And if they say, well, no, that was me being psychic and I picked that up, they're not psychically picking that up either. Because if you think for 1 minute that you're not, spirit's not working with you, even when you're working psychically, then you're wrong, you know, because we have got the highest, if you believe in God or you believe on that beautiful light there of love, then that is what you're working with, you know. But sometimes I think, you know, it depends on your own darkness as well, you know. Therefore, I think it's important for everybody to keep working on themselves, you know.
Exactly. I mean, that's it. Working on yourself. I mean, finding out really deep down what you're worthy, who you are, connecting to your soul. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. It's never going to be a 5-minute thing. You know, it's the rest of your life. And things do change throughout your life. People do change, and situations change. And you know, all you can do is try and be the best person possible. I mean, no one's perfect ever. You know, we all say things and do things that we don't mean. I mean, it's making amendments with people, making amendments with situations, and you know, just trying to live the best life you possibly can for yourself and for others.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just deleting something that I've just seen, so just 2 seconds. That's fine. You always get someone.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, you always get one.
Yeah, you always do. Yeah. So, it's another comment came in as well. It's Avril saying, a gypsy at a fair when I was younger told my mum 3 things. The 2 things came true, but the third didn't. The third thing was that one of her daughters would die in a red car, and none of us go in a red car. Yeah,
that's
you know,
another thing.
you really do wonder, don't you? You know,
I don't think there are that fortune telling or things like that. I mean,
exactly. You know,
it's just not.
No.
It's horrendous.
So you work with the light, you work with the love, you know, and after a reading, you should actually feel a clearance, you know, of release.
Cleanse yourself down.
Yeah, and a release of grief as well, you know, and also you should leave feeling inspired. You should have this light around you as well. So that is how you should feel. But it's, you know, everybody keeps staying on, because remember, we do have live readings coming up very shortly. And I would also like to ask you if you could please like, share, subscribe to our channels there. It's free. So we've got Spotify, and we've also got our my YouTube channel, which is this one here. I know this
Before
is going.
We start the lives, I would have to run and get my block charger, because
it's all right. That's fine.
Let me know when you want me to run and get it.
No problem.
Be about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, I know this is going audio, so if anybody wants to subscribe to the channels, it's www.youtube.com/@AliceSparkleLight/videos. All the subscribers I do appreciate, because it helps us grow, and also we're on Spotify as well, and Apple, so I do appreciate that. And I would like to also share Steve. So again, for anyone, this is who are on audio and they can't see, we are at Steve Razzell, which is SteveRazzell.com/. Okay. So if anyone wants to give Steve a contact and find out any further information, we've also got steve.razzell@outlook.com. Okay, so I'm just sharing those details for those who cannot see and would like to get in touch with you. So yeah, you've shared what's coming up, okay, but anything at all that you would like to share to the listeners that would help inspire them, Steve, in any way?
With mediumship, or with anything in particular?
With life in general, actually, just with life in general. Yeah. Anything at all that you feel.
Yeah, I mean, one major thing, if you've had a particularly difficult childhood and etc., anything, abuse or, neglect, anything like that, do everything in spite of everybody else. Do everything in spite of anybody that did you any wrong. If you've had bullying and abuse, you let that be the drive behind you to get out of, the deepest depths and stand in the tallest mountains, because that's what's really important. I mean, I think we have those I don't know about you, but if you have a lot of mediums have, and also, and empaths have those kinds of upbringings and lives, and it inspires you to get out of that. It inspires you to, push higher and really do not look back, and use all of that to really, remember what it was like back then, and you're not in the same place, because karma comes around on everybody else. That's the main thing. But really, I mean, suffering is, we all suffer from time to time, but suffering, I think, is a major part of our soul. We come in and out and reincarnate in order for our soul to grow and to experience what we need to experience. And that's just all part of life. And move, don't ever look back. When you're charging forward, don't look back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you're not going that way, you're going forward.
You're going forwards, not going backwards.
Yeah. And you're right as well, things that's happened is, I mean, things have happened to me in my life as well, but I now look at it as, they were challenges that I probably had to go through to get me to where I am now, and where I am now, I can look back and say, well, I didn't stay there, and I wasn't worthless, and I am loved, and I did deserve to be loved, and really, as you progress forward, especially when you get older, and I'm older at my age, then you look back and you think, there was reasons that these people were like that, because they had issues going on. I
don't think people always mean to be like that. I don't think they always realise how they are sometimes. I mean, and I'm sure some people that are bullies, sometimes they grow up and they could become decent people underneath and do regret what they've done. You give people the benefit of the doubt, and I try and always do that.
That's right.
But
it doesn't mean you're going to be friends with them.
No, of course not.
But if it helps you to clear that air a little bit for you to move on, sometimes well, in my case, I kind of had to, for me to kind of have a clearance, because it just wasn't going away, until I did it. And so you have to do what's right for you, for you to be able to move on. But I'd always say, like, you always constantly work on yourself, constantly work on yourself. I constantly
work
think,
on yourself,
why did I react like that? Why did I react like that? What made me react like that? And go in and find out more about you, your own soul.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm with you totally on that. And it's now 9 o'clock, so we're now getting to that point now, Steve, where we're going to go and do the live readings. So you can go and do whatever it was you were going to do.
Okay, I'll be as quick as I can.
You're all right. I've got music to play. Yeah, okay. I don't want to sing though, Steve.
No, that's absolutely fine. I won't be a minute.
No problem. I don't want to go singing when you're away, so I'll start this lovely music, and that's going to take us on to the next part, and that is the readings with Steve Razzell and myself, Alice Trevorrow. Good evening and welcome back to our second part of this evening, and this is where we will be doing live readings. We do have an audience, we do have people here that will be writing in comment boxes, so we don't actually see them, so we're just going on the feed of comments going into the boxes unless we have our lovely guests who would like to come on the show. Then they're more than welcome to do so as well. Right. So we've got Steve Razzell, who will be doing, he's a psychic medium. He will be doing readings tonight with me. So I'm looking forward to that. And we have got our guests here as well. So we've got guests here, and we will be doing our live readings. But before we do that, remember, when we come to you, if we're going direct, that's fine. If we're going indirect, then remember also put your comments on the comment box as quickly as you can, so as we can, keep the energy flowing. Okay, that's the most important advice I would say at the moment. Okay, so our guests are all here, Steve, and
Okay.
yeah. So, do you want to go first then, Steve?
Do you want to go first, and I'll lead by example. I'll let you go, and I'll tune in.
Okay, darling. Okay, so just bear with me.
So I'm not quite sure where the comments are going to be, or the chat.
Well, as I explained earlier, I will put the comments underneath where you can see, okay? Because you can't
and I
see.
Can't always see everybody.
All right.
Okay, that's fine. I do apologise for that.
No, I'll also be monitoring.
Last-minute technical disaster.
Yeah, I'll also be monitoring as well. Okay, so I'm doing it all tonight. Yeah. That's why I kind of, it's good if you can get someone else to come on and help and say to you, oh, so and so's answering, because you're trying to keep your link with spirit world, but you're coming in and out all the time, so it's pretty hard work doing that. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to just go with what I've got just now. I would like to actually, I'm going to go direct. I'm going to go to Stacey. I'm going to go to Stacey J. Okay, now Stacey, I have a lady stepping forward for you, and she is a grandmother in spirit world, but she's on mum's side of the family, and I feel that she's stepping forward here as well. I feel that she would have been quite an influencer, okay, to everybody in the family. She was a very strong lady, but she also was a woman that she suffered quite a bit, I feel, in her health, and also she struggled with kind of keeping a bit of positivity with things, because she says my health was deteriorating and I was struggling, and my mind as well. I wasn't that same girl that had the spring in her step, and I found that very difficult. So she's giving me that, and you can understand with the grandmother, but she's also saying about two brothers as well. So there would be two brothers in spirit world that would be in and around this lady that she's giving me too. And also she's just said the name Jim, someone called Jim. He may have been called James, but I did get Jim. So Jim or James. She's also saying I've met with him too. She's also singing "O Flower of Scotland." So I don't know if she's from Scotland or not, or if she liked that song, but I'm hearing "O Flower of Scotland." And also she's talking about someone coming to visit Scotland as well. So there's someone coming to visit Scotland. So she's bringing that into. She's giving me the month of November for a birthday or an anniversary or a passing, but she's given me November as well. And also the 17th of a month is also very important. She's also given me that too. Okay. Now I would like to just go on a little bit further. Anne, she talks about somebody called Anne. Okay. But I feel Anne's not in spirit. I feel she's here. Okay, so she's talking about somebody called Anne. So she's bringing Anne in. She's talking about a bit of a dispute or something going on in the family just now. Where one person's not seeing eye to eye with another. She's saying, okay, and she's also saying as well that she's trying to sort all this out. Now I feel here your gran was a lady that I I'm not saying she liked to keep everybody happy, but she would have liked to make things fair. She was a very fair lady, and whatever's going on just now, she's saying it is unjustified, it's unfair, it shouldn't be happening. Okay, but she's also saying she's working on this, and she's working on this for you all. She's also talking about somebody in spirit called Ted or Fred. Okay, I'm getting the name Ted or Fred. Okay, so she's bringing in that name as well. Now she's also given me a place now, Lousy in Scotland, or Lossiemouth in Scotland. So there's either somebody that stays there or has memories of Lossiemouth in Scotland. There's a significance to that area. Because I heard it 3 times getting shouted out to me. So if you can understand that, fair well. If you don't, will you watch out where that area in Scotland's coming in? Lossiemouth or Lousy, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Lossiemouth in Scotland is what I'm getting. All right. Can I also say as well, January as well, she's talking about new movement in and around you. Do you understand somebody that's looking for a house, or they're moving in January? Because she's given me January for a movement, and I was seeing a house with this. So would you understand that, Stacey, where there's a move of house in January coming up, and it would be within the family as well, as she says that. So if you can put a wee comment on, that would be great. Oh, you want to, sweetheart, you want to move. Okay, well, there you go. Just remember what she said, okay, because she's talking about a movement. Seen the house, I've seen January, I've seen like the 31st going right up to the very end. So if you're not moved by then, you'll certainly know what's happening and where you're going to be going, because that is coming in quite strong for you. I want to do a card as well. So I'm going to do a card, but I'm still going to work with your gran. And she's got a lovely smile though. She, and as she's coming in, oh, you've got 2 cards. You've got 2 cards that's come out of the pack. She also wants to bring you to February, and she's saying you will be a lot more settled by February. Okay, all right. So she wants you to not give up and hope. She also is bringing in as well. I've got 2 cards coming in. I've got the inner voice card, all right, and you've also got trust your vibes card as well. Now, I want to go a bit further with this, okay, and what I'm getting here is from your gran is you've got a good intuition, a good gut intuition here, but she's talking about where you've been a little bit skeptical of what's been getting said to you recently. Something's just not kind of adding up here. It's like there's a little piece of the jigsaw missing. All right. And she's saying, even when you were younger, you always had that good gut intuition when you knew when something wasn't right, and she's saying here, follow your heart with this, okay, and trust the vibes and what you're feeling as well. All right. And I just feel here, it's like you should be getting a little bit more respect than you're getting just now. Okay. I feel this is more in a work situation, if that would make sense to you, Stacey. I'm now starting to feel this is more in a work situation. So if you can take it that way, then please do, because I feel we're talking about a work situation, a friendship situation, in and around that. Okay, so I didn't feel it was family. I didn't feel it was family. Okay, and you've got yes for sure on that. All right, your grand's just said to me that there's changes coming up for you in May regarding your work. Big changes coming up for you in May. Okay, nice changes there for you. Okay, now I also feel your gran, was she having like see around her mouth, was she having sores around her mouth? you know, because she's making me feel that she used to have to put Zovirax. She just said there's something about her mouth, and she had to put Zovirax around her mouth here. And somebody else here has been having it's like a little bit of hacks or something round. I don't even know if you know what hacks is. It's an old word, but it's as if it's all round the mouth. And I know I'm getting Zovirax as well. There's somebody here having problems around the mouth region just now, so she kind of knows what that feels like. But she's talking about this person having these problems around the mouth, and I don't feel it's somebody younger. Okay, I feel it's someone younger, but she is bringing that in. Do you understand? The granddaughter, another granddaughter, or where there's another granddaughter that she would be mentioning with this, because I didn't feel it was you, but I'm hearing granddaughter. Okay, so it's either her granddaughter or your granddaughter, you know, but we're going along a granddaughter link. Okay, oh right, okay, my darling. Is it your daughter? It's your daughter. Okay. All right. So do you understand she's been having a bit of problems around the mouth then? Is this your daughter then it's having this? Because I was getting that link with that. I also know as well that persevere here. Okay. Your daughter's going through a transition at the moment. Okay, of growing. All right. And there's a lot of kind of emotions I feel going on up and down there with her just now. I feel she's quite young, but I also feel as well, even though she's young, I also feel her head is a bit older. Okay. You know, so sometimes that can be like, you know, a bit weird, you know, like why would that be, why is she saying that to me? She shouldn't be really saying that, you know, but I feel she's a wee bit older than her years and always will be, okay. But a very wise soul, very, very wise soul there, okay. And your gran is very, very proud, very, very proud of her, okay. And you say that's correct, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to leave you, my darling, and I'm going to let Steve work, but I'm going to leave you with the month of September. Okay, there is a passing around September that would be very relevant, and I also felt like Dad's side, okay, with that, okay, and a lot of love there around Dad, okay. I'm going to leave you with that, sweetheart, and I'll pass you over to Steve. Okay, so I don't mean I'm passing you, Stacey, over to Steve, but I'm passing. It's your turn, Steve. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Alice. What made me laugh was when you said James. I write a lot of things down. Jim. I wrote the same name down as you were saying it, so I don't know who that must be. I don't know if it's the same connection with
Yeah,
Stacey, but
maybe
I
we're
know that I've
linking
got
in
a man
together.
coming forward. I do feel that he could possibly be I know he's an older man when he passes. He doesn't feel young to me. He does feel like a grandfatherly kind of thing. I don't think this is a recent passing somehow, but I do feel there is Scottish connections. I felt that I wrote that down. He doesn't feel like an Englishman to me or anything else. If I'm with Stacey, I don't know if I'm going anywhere else, but if I can talk to Stacey, if that's all right, if she can just let me know in the comments. But I do get this quite large kind of a character. He is a very quick-witted, kind of jokey kind of man. He's someone that doesn't take many prisoners. I think when he would have said something, that would have been it. He's I want to say a non-PC kind of a. This is someone of an older generation. This isn't a recent man of his sort of. He wouldn't be able to say many things that he would say now, put it like that. I would say leave it at that. But I do feel that he would have been a drinker. He would have been someone of a social side. He's a really big part of the family. I know that. Are you with me at all, Stacey? Jim, you've put down. I see if you can take this information, but this is going back. I know that this is quite a tough time for many. His upbringing and everything. It would have been. I don't get a lot of money with him. I feel that he would have been someone that lived a very modest kind of a life, but he made the most of it. Nothing. He wasn't a very materialistic man in any kinds of ways. He wasn't someone that would have expected much of anybody. Do you know possibly if I have issues? I want to say sort of throat areas. I'm not sure it's throat cancer, but I do believe he would have been a smoker during his time. I do feel that he would have done quite a lot of practical work. I feel quite sort of sweaty and quite grubby when I work. I talk not in any offensive way, but I know that he would have been a manual labour in some sort of a way. real likable character. I mean, by so many, and I really come forward for. I think I'm with Stacey. I was drawn to her anyway, but Jim, as I say, if this is grandfather, it feels like a grandfather kind of a figure. Smokey, yes, you can take that so far, so that's good. But I know that he is still that character that I left, and I know that he is definitely someone that's still spoken about all the time. I'm not sure we're going to go to the November month. I know we're in November now, but if this connects within the month of November, a passing or anything like that. And with you as a person, I mean, you would never have found him on a bad day. I mean, he's a really cheerful kind of a character. And I'm sort of wondering if it's sort of Glasgow area. I'm not that familiar with Scotland. I've only been there a couple of times, but I do feel a very tough man. You know, someone that always got up, and you know, if you had a, you know, go to work with a broken leg, you know, he never gave up. So I'll give you all of that. There are war connections as well with him. I know that that's going sort of 1920s with his upbringing and everything around there, but I'll hold you really close. I mean, he's a lovely man. He really is. He's a real diamond of a guy, and he's quite loud. I want to say, I'm not sure. I do think he possibly would have lost some hearing as well towards the end of his life, because I need to shout and everything. Do you know if he has throat or lung cancer? If you can understand that at the end of notes, if it's traumatic for you to mention that, but if you don't want to mention that, if you don't reply to that, but I do feel that's quite a big connection to him. If you're with me, Stacey, I do tend to work quite quickly. I'm sorry to talk so fast, but that's just how I work. I do want to take some cards out as well. It's that kind of an area I can feel. Do you understand him being a manual labourer? I mean, working in practical, so building work, that kind of a thing. And he's also someone I can see scrap metal in my mind, so I think that's probably something to do with it as well. So I'll shuffle these and I'll take some out for you. But I know that he's very proud, and I know that the thing is with you have a lot of his energy about you, and he was a fast talker. This man, he never stopped. He was a real life and soul of the party kind of man. Do you know if you ever had a budgie or a canary as well? Because I'm seeing that in my mind, if that connects with you as well. I've got a green budgie in my mind from him, and he was. I can understand. I feel he's sort of around his 60s to 70s when he passes. I'm getting a lot of back pain as well with him, so I know that he was a hard worker. Okay, let me take some cards out for him, for you as well, Stacey. So. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but I know with you as a person, I mean, I do see here the cards that I pulled out as well for you. I mean, you've got a lot of spiritual awareness. I mean, this is your sort of route. This is your pathway. We spoke about a lot of this during the interview as a podcast as well. But I can certainly see here, this is what's opening up to you. I think you do lack a lot of confidence in it. That's the one thing with you. You have had quite a lot of, I think, we talk about life lessons and things. I mean, friends and sort of relationships that have, been extremely draining. I mean, I think not that you're a victim or anything like that, but I know with the high priest, I mean, you're out of the worst of it. From certainly what's gone on before with relationships, friendships, I mean, I do think you've had a lot of your trust shaken, particularly recently with people. Hangman as well, we've got here, but the Two of Swords is really important as well. And so the high priest is probably the most important card here, without a doubt. That's you saying no to people. I think you've got to have a cut-off point with everyone. And saying no to everybody is really important because you're too kind-hearted with everybody. That's the thing. So certainly saying no, and certainly moving on from the past. I think the past is something that you found hard to move on from. I think you do look backwards currently than you are looking forwards, but we're getting forward to that situation where you turn the corner, and you definitely say no to people, no to situations. I think you're quite easy to. Kind-heartedness is an understatement. I mean, anybody that wants, you to do a favour for them, you would drop, at the drop of a hat, you do it from. That's the one thing. This man that stands with you, I mean, he is a very protected man to you, and I hope you can understand his love. And I mean, I do think he's somebody who's quite set in his own ways, set in his own sort of town, village, that kind of a thing, and doesn't really sort of move out of it. I mean, he's got quite a, how I want to put it, he's set in his own ways, set in his own space. And this is one thing that he really shows me. But you're the traveller, you're the one that goes out and does everything, and he's very proud of that. He's a very patriotic man. I really can say that about him. He, everything's Scotland. So I'm happy to leave his love with you if you're happy with that, and I'll pass back over to Alice if you're happy with that.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was lovely. That was really nice. Okay.
Hope I didn't talk too quickly. I do talk quite quickly when I work. It's just me.
Yeah, no, you're all right. That's
quite
fine.
Quickly.
Okay, so I don't know if Jeannie is still on. Jeannie, so I don't know if she's still on or not. If you are, could you let me know, please? Because I was getting drawn to. I'm trying to find Jeannie Baldazara, I think that is. Anyway, it's definitely Jeannie. So, Jeannie, if you're still on, let me know, and I will carry on with what I'm getting given. She may have went off, so I'm not too sure or not. But yeah, she's here. Okay, right, that's fine. Okay, right, I'm going to go with quite a few things because you've got quite a few people coming in here, and I would like to say to you, I do have your father who stepped forward, but I also have another gentleman here as well, and this gentleman makes me feel like a husband or a partner. I'm not sure if it's your husband or your dad, but one of them passed with a heart attack, and I mean really quickly, you know, and I'm seeing blue lights flashing. I'm seeing an ambulance. I'm seeing like the paramedics. I can see resuscitation, trying to resuscitate, you know, but I'm getting both gentlemen coming in together. They're coming in. Oh, what have you got? Okay, so you understand Dad. Okay, that's great. I also want to say to you, can you also understand Dad linking into a husband that belong to you, or a partner? Because I have got two gentlemen here, and yeah, okay. So I'm just going to leave you with that. I know there's a bit of delay, but you can understand Dad. You can understand Dad then with the heart condition. That's absolutely fine, because I know that this passing was really quickly. I also know that can you take as well that yeah, your husband's in spirit as well. Okay, right. Can you also take why I was saying about Dad being like the gentle giant, like his bark was worse than his bite, sort of thing, you know? Because I feel, you know, you all kind of knew when, you know, when you kind of crossed that line, but I feel as well that, you know, his back was worse than his bike. He wasn't really kind of as strict as he tried to make out to be, if that makes sense. Okay, so you understand that. That's fine. Thank you, Jeannie. Because that's the way he's bringing that in. Okay. I also know as well, your mother is with your dad in spirit world, but they both must have watched a program called This Is Your Life. I'm seeing the big red book here, and the show was called This Is Your Life. And I'm hearing Eamon Andrews, or Andrew Eamon Andrews. It would have been on. Okay, Eamon Andrews. I'm hearing. I'm also getting This Is Your Life story. And it was a show, but they would have watched that, I feel, together, and it was something that they really enjoyed doing, or your mum enjoyed doing it, because your mum's saying that she's actually talking to me and she's mentioning this. I feel as well it was just a case of, you know, they were quite happy just to settle in for the night, just relax, watch a bit of TV, and just enjoy, you know, their life. They didn't look for too much either. They didn't want too much. They were happy the way they were. Okay. I also get in October, and I'm getting the Libra sign as well, for somebody's birthday. Okay. The birthday could be in spirit world or here, but I'm getting October being very relevant. Okay. I'm also they split up, did they? Right. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's fine. But can you understand then? So you're October. You're October, and you're the Libra sign. That's absolutely fine. Well, I want to stick them with your mum, because I know the show This Is My Life, okay, was a show that she would have watched. But there's also a there's also another reason she's bringing this in. Okay. I'm just talking about you just now, all right? And she's saying here, It is your life, okay? And nobody has got the right to tell you what to do with it. Okay, so at this moment in time, can you understand where somebody's trying to say to you, no, don't be doing that, and trying to tell you what you should be doing, and they may be doing it in a kind, loving way, thinking they're thinking the right thing for you, okay? But it is your life, and it's up to you what you want to do with it, okay? And if you don't want to make a move on this just now, then don't, okay? All right, stick to what you feel is right for you, okay? And I feel as well, here I'm getting guided as well for you to start to think about. Okay, so you understand that. That's fine. It's an open platform, so I've got to watch what I'm saying. But I'm trying to say to you, you're going in the right path. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and your mum's very proud of the way you've kind of just took a little bit of control of this. Okay, she's very proud of that. I also feel as well, I feel a gentleman coming forward for you, and I know we spoke about lung cancer, but I know this man had lung cancer, and I know he smoked about 60 a day. He smoked a lot, this man, okay? That's a lot to smoke, but he was a chain smoker, okay? And he certainly knows the family. I feel he knows your dad. I feel we might be going in dad's side maybe with this one, but this gentleman does feel like either an uncle or your dad's brother. Yeah, you've just put uncle up, okay? So you understand uncle, that's fine. Can I just say that they've all met, okay? They've all met, all right? And I also feel that he knows about illness, this gentleman, okay? Because he had a mind of his own, no? He had a mind of his own, but he also says, yeah, I had a strong mind, but, you've got to have a strong mind, and if you don't have your own mind to use, then what's the point in having it, he says. So he's saying to you, he's glad that you're using your own mind on whatever this is just now, and he's also saying he knows about ill health, but he says, 5 years ago, things were different for you to what it is now. And he's talking about your health, and he's talking about how you've kind of took charge of this, okay? And he's also saying he's very proud of the way you've developed with it as well. Can you also understand the gentleman that had an aneurysm as well? Because this gentleman stepped forward and he knows your uncle, he knows your dad, but there was an aneurysm. There was an aneurysm in the head with this man as well, and they've all kind of met up together. And the name Graham as well, but I feel is not in spirit. I feel is here. Is also getting mentioned, the name Graham. So take that on board with that. I'm going to do my cards too. So that's your granddad. Is that? Yeah. So you're saying that's your granddad. Okay, my darling. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to give you angel card now. Okay. So let's just see where we're going with this, and I'll get spirit to guide us also through the angel card for some more spiritual guidance here. Okay, right, let's just go with what we've got. Okay, you are protected is the card. You are protected. All right, so as I'm looking at this card as well, I also want to say to you, would you understand a Catholic connection or St. Michael's, but I'm getting a Catholic connection. I feel I'm going to look at a church of a Catholicism here. I'm also seeing rosary beads as well. And as a lady stepping forward, and I know this lady would have prayed when she needed, you understand this? Yeah, she would have prayed when she needed help. Okay, and she's saying that you do that as well. Okay, you do that as well. And she's saying your prayers are getting listened to. Your prayers are getting listened to. I'm sorry, hold on a minute, I'm just seeing something. Do you understand why I'm getting Leaving Valley? Leaving Valley? I just heard Leaving Valley, and I actually could see Leaving Valley. Okay. I don't know if that's an area or a place, I'm not sure, but I'm hearing Leven Valley. Okay, so you will know where that should be getting placed, but that's what I'm hearing here. I'm also hearing as well from this. What? Oh, live across the road. Is Leven Valley across the road from where you live then? Wow, great, I love that. Great, love it. Okay. Oh, you're from that. You're from there. Okay, bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, that's what she gave me. And this is a bit of evidence as well. Okay. She's also just saying to you something that has been said to you, or if you don't understand it just being said to you, it's coming up. Okay. Because she's saying take it as tongue in cheek. Okay, don't take it as anything else. All right. And it's something that somebody is going to say to you, and they're a lot, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I just mean they're a lot younger. They're young in their age here. Something gets said to you, but just take it tongue in cheek because it's not meant any other way. All right. But she's saying here, she knows you've been a little bit sensitive recently, and she's saying, remember, just take it in tongue in cheek. Don't take this seriously because it's not meant that way at all. Okay. And there's a lot of love there going to you, Jeannie. And I also know as well that when you're in your bed at night, you do feel spirit around you. You've actually felt at times as well when you've been in your bed, you've actually felt as if someone has been touching you. Okay, like your hair or your arm here, I feel. Okay. So that didn't sound right, did it, the way I said that? But you know what I mean. Okay. I just felt the spiritual connection there coming around you when you're in bed. I don't know if they're touching your hair or your arm here or both, but I just went to head and arm, and where you would feel the love and sensation from spirit world. And they also said they do reconnect you in your dreams. They're also showing me green here as well. I'm seeing green. I'm hearing the song, the green, green grass of home as well coming in, and that would be very relevant too. So I hope that makes all sense to you. I know the majority of it has, but it's very slow when the comments come through. But I would like to just leave you with their love there, Jeannie, okay? And thank you so much for accepting their blessing and their love. Steve, I'll pass over to you now, darling.
Thank you very much. I think I want to go to Avril because I've been trying to tune in to see who was on the screen. I can't see as good as you can, but for some reason I was really drawn here. So if I could just see her comment on the screen, that would be great. But there is a lady I feel I've got coming forward. I'm not, pardon?
For Avril.
Yeah.
Hold
She's
on.
still with us. Is she what's on here?
Avril, if you're still with us, would you let us know, please? Just put a comment on.
I think I'm with her anyway.
Yeah. So as we know that you're still there.
Yeah, okay.
This is no point in giving
anything,
you
that'd be good. But I think I'm with her, so that if you can put a comment on there, if not, I'll have to move on to somebody else. But there is. Oh, she got cut off.
Oh, she got cut off. Jeannie got cut off. Oh, darling. Okay. I'm calling you wee Jeannie. Did somebody call you wee Jeannie? Did somebody in spirit will call you wee Jeannie? Because that's what I was calling you there, Jeannie. Okay. Avril, if you're still on, please let us know. Okay. If not, well, if not,
I'll see if I can build the energy elsewhere. I don't know if I'm with her. I may not be with her anyway, but we'll see how the energy goes. But I do feel I've got possibly someone's mother here or grandmother, that kind of a connection. But I do have to say that they were quite a handful in the best of times. I do have to say with this particular lady, I do feel quite a depressive kind of energy. I feel that she'll be quite negative about every single situation. Sorry to say it, but that's how I really feel with her. To start with, she does come across. I feel that she would have had depressions through a lot of her life. She's a sweet lady, I must say that, but I know that she needed a lot of love, a lot of support. I'll see if we can go with names and things like that. But
Avril is on.
There we are. I know she's, if that's who you're connecting with, if that's your mum or whatever, but would you understand I've got someone that had throughout her life, I mean, she was, she felt judged by everybody. She felt like, she couldn't go out. I feel that she got quite acrophobic, if that's the right word. So we don't want to go outside. We don't want to see people. There is a slight sense I'm getting of, I'm not sure if it's Alzheimer's or something like that, but I know I've got issues in the brain before she would have gone to spirit, so you can understand that. So I'm not sure if it's some sort of tumor or something like that, but I know in my mind I'm feeling very dizzy, very giddy, if you can understand that, with this is your mother. But it does feel like a motherly connection. She does feel a lot like you in many ways, but you really had to support her along the way. Unless there's a Carol or a Karen, that sort of a name at all, if that makes any sense to you. But as I work with her, I know that she's not an easy person. She was a very difficult person to get along with. Most of it's a grandmother. Okay, I'm not sure if this could be on your mum's side. I do feel it's quite a large family that I want to speak about as well. But I know that for a lot of it, she hid away. She was quite uncomfortable with the outside world. But I know that you were her guiding light. The thing is, as well, you feel her around you a lot. I know you said she's been with you all week, but wouldn't doubt that for a moment. Is there a Carol or a Caroline, that kind of a name? A Karen, that kind of a name? If you can understand that. I can't quite get the rest of it at the moment, but we'll work with her. Did she have Alzheimer's as well, or anything along those lines? Because I know that I keep repeating myself when I talk about her. I know that I get quite confused with everything. She would be on medication, but she'd also be very argumentative towards the end of her life. And I want to be uplifting with her and say that she's not going through that anymore, because she's happy. She is to come forward. I do have to say she was a very strong character deep down, and she was a very kindly lady deep down. So please do take that on from her. If it's making sense to you, please do let me know. But I know that she comes forward, and I know the main reason behind it is to make you aware that she's happy and that she isn't. Karen's your sister. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. But for all of you and for everyone that would concern her and would have had to have lived with her, I need to apologise for the way that she would have been, but she couldn't help how she was. A lot of the time, she was 10. Okay. Would there be any I'll say Irish connections in the family, but I can feel this Catholic connections with her as well. I know that I think it was from a traumatic childhood. That's how she would have been. But on that basis, there was also a Joe or Joan as well. That name, if you can understand that. But as I open up with her, I mean, she was a very private lady, and she found it very difficult to actually express how she felt deep down. But you really gave her. There's also George. I want to say that name, if you could take that. But I do think she had quite a religious upbringing, and it's quite a sheltered life for most of it. But you're the opposite now of that. I know with what you do, with the mediumship development, very strong matron. I don't know what that. Not quite sure what that means, but what does that? I'm not quite sure what that means. Nurse or
her name.
Okay, not a problem. Oh, no problem. Okay, so as I know she's here as well, and I do want to be very careful how I word this. And I know you're not allowed to say the word live, but I do feel that someone did pass. I think it's a younger male that did unfortunately cross himself over. I prefer using that term to the big S word, and we're not allowed to say it anyway, I don't think, on YouTube or live. So someone that actually took themselves over to the spirit world. I think I've got a younger male coming forward. I think might still connect here as well. But on that basis, not to wear Catholic, okay, no problem. But if you can take that as well, perhaps I'm still with you. But I know that there's a younger lad here that I think that passed in that way. It's a lot of tragedy. I think that she did witness a lot of that throughout her life, a lot of passings of, unfortunate passings and everything like that. But I want to take some cards out for you as well. She was very private. George is her brother. Okay, that makes sense. And if you can understand the younger lad that I feel did pass in that sort of way, and I prefer using that term. I'm sure you probably would as well, as that sort of a term for a passing like that, rather than the what would be the formal name for it, if you can understand what I mean. Okay, take some cards out for you. 1, 2, I'll take 7 cards out. I mean, yeah, very connected to spirit. You are. I totally understand that. To have the Tetralite, which is temperance, I use a Druid craft tarot, and that's Major Arcana. It's also known as temperance in many other packs. That's a lot about spiritual connection, and also the High Priest. One thing I do want to say to you as well, Avril, S25 he was. Okay, that's young. I don't know. That's the younger lad that unfortunately does that. I understand that. I will try and bring him forward a bit more before anything else. I will bring him in as well just after this tarot reading. But I know that you have to have that cut-off point. I think with you, you're quite open all the time with the spirit, and you need to have that time. You do get drained as well an awful lot. You are empathetic with people, and you go very deep within the readings and everything like that you give. The one thing I want to say to you, I mean, you love what you do and everything like that, but you have to have a cut-off point. And this, I mean, you had certainly from your grandmother, there was wasn't in the way. Okay, I'm not quite sure if it was the way I would talk about. Okay, but Seven of Wands and everything like that. I mean, what you've experienced from the past and everything like that from your gran, that leads into your empathy and everything like that. So you're going in the right direction. So it's opened you up to some incredible people. People are your life. You are an extrovert. And King of Cups, I mean, the patience and everything like that you have with everyone else. So a lot of this is empathetic. Justice card as well. I mean, from what you've been through, what you've experienced throughout your life, I mean, it's really led you up to this. And so I'll try and bring this lad in before we go, but I know he goes quick. I mean, if you say it wasn't in the way that I mean, I'm not quite sure if the past thing is or what you mean by that, but I know that he was quite a bouncy, quite a, an outgoing kind of a character. He was very much a lad's lad. This guy, I can feel a lot of pressure around my head area, so I had to go by that. I'm not quite if it's an accident or something like that, in some sort of vehicle accident, but I can feel pressure around my head with him, and I know that he would have been paying attention. That's the sort of thing. I think he would have been sort of away doing his own. He wasn't the sort of guy that really paid much attention to what he was doing. Very drained, pick up on the feelings and emotions. Okay, but I will bring this guy forward. If you can understand him, then that will it's information that I'd really appreciate that you could let me know as I work with him. But if it's someone that's very closely connected with you, I feel like I'm in the family, if I'm honest here, to start us off with, because it comes in that sort of a direction. But I know this isn't a recent passing. This does feel like quite a while ago, and he is someone I feel that will have had depressions certainly throughout his life. And I really want to give that to you. So as I'm working with him, he's someone that's sort of all over the place. He's bouncing around my room and everything like that. He would have been a real music person, a real, lad's dad, as I mentioned. Unless there's a Craig or a Chris, that kind of a name as well, I want to say. And I really will say to you, thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for doing what you've been set out to do. You feel that natural empathetic kind of vibe from what you do. And one last card, I mean, well, it's also known as the Wheel of Fortune, but you've had this gift from childhood. And neurological condition. Okay, that's probably the head area. I think he goes quite quickly, though. I don't think he doesn't hang around particularly. It feels like quite a quick passing, so I thought it might have been that way. But I know that he has, I think neurologically he had depressions anyway, but cerebral palsy. Okay. Let's see what we go with that. But I mean, I will give you his love, and I'll say thank you for the reading. I feel him putting back now. Actually, he was quite a character. He still is there, and he's happy as anything. So I'm sure also though there is nephew year this October. Okay. I'm not sure if that's the same guy I'm linking with somehow, but I'll have to give it to you as it comes. Okay, but I do say thank you very much, and I hope you take on all this information, and thank you very much for listening to me and accepting the information.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was lovely. That was really nice. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Steve, as I said, if you go onto YouTube, there will be repeated on YouTube. It's live just now, but it will be repeated on YouTube. It's live on Facebook just now, but on Thursday it will be going to Spotify. Spotify. It's going to Spotify on Thursday. So if anybody wants to listen there and catch up on it, we've got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Radio Public, TuneIn, and Podchaser. But I just would ask, please, if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is this one here, which is www.youtube.com/@AliceSparkleLight/videos, and also the Spotify channel as well. So thank you so much. I would like to also thank all our guests who's come on this evening. It's been great that you've all come on, and I hope you've enjoyed your night. It's lovely. It builds that energy up, and it's great to have you on. It really is. So thank you for being here. I would like to just share a couple little things that we are on next Tuesday with another guest. So welcome you back next Tuesday. We will have a chat with a special guest and also live readings as well. And Friday the 8th, this Friday the 8th at 9 p.m, Unexplained Mysteries. That is another podcast. That is the first episode. If anybody wants to link in and listen to that, you're more than welcome. And if you would like to come on the show, let me know. It's alicetrevorrow@gmail.com. Okay. So I would like to thank everyone for being on. And Steve, it's been great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed your night. It's been good fun having you here. Yeah, it's been good fun having you. Yeah, and I hope London's doing well too. My daughter's going to London tomorrow. So yeah.
Poor her.
Yeah, she's going to London tomorrow. My son and his wife and my granddaughter are there just now. So they were at the Harry Potter expedition of some kind. So and my daughter, my daughter stays down there, so she's going up to meet them. So so thank you for being here, and I would like to also leave you with stay safe and look after each other. And remember,
Stacey and Avril, my two that I came to, and I do thank you both for accepting that. Two, quite some characters tonight, I think.
Yeah, it's good to have that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do thank you and thank them as well and thank you all for listening. And if you want to check me out, my website is, I think it's up on the screen. You've got it on there.
It's been good up on the screen all night. Yeah. So you just have anybody just click on it. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. And as I say, if you want to repeat or to catch up on anything, that's what the websites are. It's YouTube, Spotify, etc. Okay. So I'll say good night. God bless. Look after yourself and each other. Until we see each other again. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.